Fenix suffers a broken arm at AEW Dynamite. There was another AEW star injured during last night's AEW show as well at the Rampage taping. And WWE talent are upset with a symbolic NXT New Year's Evil moment. We'll get to it in the wrestling news right now. Last night, AEW Dynamite began in its new slot on TBS. It was a night that was memorable for good and for not so good reasons. We can start by announcing brand spanking new AEW World Tag Team Champions in Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They beat Lucha Brothers last night in quite the match. A match, however, that will very much be overshadowed by what took place right near the end. As Luchasaurus chokeslams Fenix off of the apron and through a table. We see Fenix land. We see his arm go in a weird position. We see Fenix then calling over for medical staff. After that, we understand that Fenix is taken out of the ring, to the back, taken to hospital. It's a broken arm, Andrew.
Oh, it did not look good at all, obviously. So on the YouTube channel now, they've blurred that out so you can't see what happens. But if you do go back, if you're watching live, bless him, at one point he even picks his arm up and it just bends the other way, and that's such a shame. He's so good. He's so good, and I mean to see anybody injured is horrible. But you know, what a way to debut on TBS. It's just not a nice thing, is it? And it looked like a bad break too. So I'm hoping that he's all right, and I hope everything really just goes well in his recovery. And yeah, just wish him all the best. Just really do wish him all the best.
Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net and Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer both reporting that it is a broken arm, and he should be having an MRI scan on the arm to make sure, or should be having it checked over rather, as you are watching this. So we'll hope to have a further update on Fenix as the day goes on. But if it's a broken arm, that's going to be quite a substantial amount of time. Well, it is a broken arm, so it's going to be a substantial amount of time out of wrestling for Fenix. And as you say, it's gutting because he's so good, and the Lucha Brothers are such a staple part of the tag team division. And we wish Fenix nothing but the best, a full and speedy recovery. Unfortunately, not the only injury that we had last night at AEW. They taped Rampage after Dynamite, and we saw Jake Atlas in the ring for the first time as an official member of the AEW roster. It was earlier this week that Tony Khan announced that Jake Atlas is all elite. He had a match against Adam Cole on Rampage that saw a springboard super kick spot that always looks nice, but unfortunately it led to Jake Atlas landing badly, seemingly injuring his knee. The plan was going to be to have Jake Atlas take a Panama Sunrise. He was unable to get into the right position to do that, so the finish was swapped out, so Adam Cole locked in a knee bar and got a submission win on Jake Atlas. Brian Alvarez has reported that he is scheduled today for an MRI. Is Jake Atlas, and we'll get an update on that soon. A gutting start to 2022, a bittersweet start to 2022 rather for Jake Atlas, signing with the company at the start of the week and seemingly ending the week on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was really exciting as well, because his dark match with Serpentico was very, very good. Like, genuinely a really great showcase, and to see him, you know, come back. He'd been away for quite a while as well. To see him come back and then be given the platform. Here you go. You're gonna be on AEW Rampage, and then unfortunately for this to happen is just a horrendous thing to see. And again, fingers crossed. Hopefully this is a not a major injury for Jake Atlas, and hopefully he can recover very, very swiftly and get back on the scene, because he's another very promising prospect in AEW that I think I would very much like to see more on our screens. So yeah, fingers crossed he recovers very, very swiftly. But it's just, what a way to start the year, Tom. What a way to start the year already.
Also last night on AEW Dynamite, we crowned the first ever TBS champion, a prospect of AEW. Fulfills their potential. Jade Cargill, the first TBS champ, and when they announced the tournament back in October, Andrew, I think to many it was a given that it was going to be Cargill.
Yeah, Without a doubt, she's been absolutely dominating in every single match she's been in now. And I think we're going to see her go on a tear. I think she's going to hold that TBS title for quite a long time, build herself up, and also build someone else up who's going to topple her, like, down the line at some point. You know, I think there's an advantage there in both things. Like, she gets built up as this monster, and then you build someone else up as well who's the underdog babyface. Like, it's a win-win either way. But yeah, I'm just very excited to see where she goes with this, to see what matches she puts on, because she's gelled really well, I think, with everybody she's been in the ring with. The match that she had with Ruby Riott was fantastic as well, and yeah, I hope to see her just improve, because she's been doing nothing but that since coming into AEW.
I'm looking forward to more stuff with her and Ruby Riott. I think the stuff with her and Thunder Rosa should be great as well. Oof. There's bags of potential of those two having some barnstorms. I think she's been great. Like, Jade Cargill has been... I've really been impressed by what she's done. Like, she just carries herself like a star. And I'm happy to see more of that. I look forward to maybe a time... You know, I don't want to talk... No, we're not talking about unifying titles here. The titles only just started, for goodness sake. But I love the idea down the road of Jade Cargill establishing this TBS championship and then going, actually, I want both. I'm coming for Britt Baker's AEW Women's Championship as well. I want that too.
That's tasty. Why aren't you on the pictures video? You should be. Take my place on the pictures video. That is some hot stuff right there.
No, apparently my creativity is not very good, because apparently Jey Uso beating Roman Reigns for the title is not good enough.
Oh!
There were dark forces at work.
Salty.
During that Terradome video we put out over Christmas. Dark forces at work. Sending on another new champion. Bron Breakker is the new NXT champion. He won the belt from Tommaso Ciampa at NXT New Year's Evil. And there's been a little bit of upset with something that happened before he won the title. Fightful reporting about this. Now, we mentioned it in the previous video. Bron Breakker's entrance for NXT New Year's Evil saw him kicking apart the big X that used to be part of the NXT logo, kicking it in half. So, I know people that I know writers that use subtext, and they're all cowards. But Fightful reporting that several people that we spoke to within NXT felt that Bron Breakker being scripted to kick the gold X in half was symbolic, and many didn't like it. I think when you tie that in to the releases that we've had in the last few hours, yeah, it was very much some deep symbolism to the end of the NXT that we knew beforehand. If it was in doubt at all that NXT was done for, I think Bron Breakker kicking the X apart would pretty much finish it off.
I mean, without a doubt, that it definitely kicks the door in for the new era of NXT, that's for sure. And I think with the title win, or the title unification between the North American Championship and the Cruiserweight Championship, was very much signifying that as well. Definitely having this new guard, this new roster on top with the titles and everything. I feel like we'll probably see Imperium drop the belts at some point, and we'll get some redesigns. I don't think that lovely NXT title is gonna be around for much longer. I think we're gonna have a new design on that as well, and I
imagine we'll get a new design by next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Because really now we're at a point where if you look at NXT compared to 12 months ago, the only thing that really is the same, barring a couple of the talent, is the titles.
Yep.
Like, those are old logos, those are the old championships. And if you are looking to completely start a new era, I think new belts are 100% in order. Something that symbolizes the new NXT. So I wouldn't be shocked if Bron Breakker comes out. Maybe, he's already kicked the X apart. Have him smash the title to pieces next week. If you're gonna do it, whether you agree with it or not, if you're gonna do it, then go all in.
I mean, that's it. It feels really sad for this to be the way that the NXT of old, which feels weird to say, the NXT of old is going out in this way. I don't know if I'm sounding a bit pretentious or whatever.
No,
but
I get you. I think a lot of people are having sort of like the change from what was NXT to what NXT is now.
Yeah.
is like jumping into a cold bath. Like that's how it's felt because it's been so rushed and so quick and so heavy-handed as well. And it hasn't had that smooth transition like, say, the Attitude Era had. It didn't just suddenly overnight go from, new generation to everybody hitting each other with chairs and everyone taking their clothes off. It slowly, they drip fed stuff in as it went, and this just kind of feels like they've just gone, new NXT, off we go.
And that's it.
We joked about like the sheer amount of the debuts they had with the first 2 weeks, like debuting 38 different people every week. It was just very heavy.
Kind of just without sounding without sounding again too pretentious or protective of the old NXT. It almost seems very disrespectful for how on the nose it is to kick apart everything that a lot of these wonderful people made. And it's just it's such a shame to see. So. This very much now feels like this is it. This is very much now the new NXT, and it's what we're going to get.
And it's not bad. And I want to emphasize, the NXT New Year's Eve was a good show. Yeah. Like, there was lots to love about it. I don't want people to think that we're just going to come down on NXT 2.0 because it's not what we knew. There's still good to be had. I think putting the belt on Bron Breakker is absolutely the right thing to do. If you're going to usher in this new era, Breakker at the top of the card is absolutely right. Absolutely the right thing to do. And there's loads of other talent in and amongst there that will represent that as well. But obviously some people upset with the very literal breaking apart of the old NXT conducted by Bron Breakker at New Year's Eve. Very literal. I know writers that use subtext and they're all cowards.
Open the door.
More news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.